Donnie Thompson considers the double kettlebell snatch as one of the best accessory lifts for powerlifting. I would also add that it's one of the hardest kettlebell exercises you can do.
I consider the double kettlebell snatch, and I don't go heavy, I go moderate to light on these. You know, I get 5 or 6 reps and continual sets and just get a lot of volume with them. For the upper body, it is great shoulder resilience, you know, and then for the feet, you're dialing into the floor. That stop at the top where everything connects together, go right through the floor. Everything is connected at that one moment when I'm at the top. So one of the things it did for me, because in the deadlift and the squat and the bench, you have to have the entire body connected, like one unit working as one. Yeah. And this is the lift that I really went to. And I didn't have to go super heavy at it either.
So in this video, we're gonna check out Donnie's technique, and I'm gonna give you a powerful, exhilarating truth bomb on how to get the most out of one of the best exercises and one of the hardest that you can do with 2 kettlebells. Grüezi miteinander, Gregory von Lebe Stark here. Before we get started, I have a gift for you, a free 30-day kettlebell challenge. Check the first link in the description. Dr. Stuart McGill attests to the fact that the kettlebell snatch is a full body exercise. It involves not only your full body, but also your full focus and full concentration. Donnie's observation that you've seen in the beginning also tie into the so-called kettlebell effect, or the what the hell effect. The kettlebell effect happens because of its unique requirements. You see, kettlebell training is not maximum strength, but it also goes beyond strength endurance. And this specific type of demand builds special or hybrid endurance, as the East Europeans call it. As soon as you tap into the potential of hybrid or special endurance, your body gets a brand new stimulus. And this might be the tide that lifts all boats of physical qualities.
A lot of people, kettlebellers, will start, they'll back up from here like this, or they'll go over it like this. I kind of, over the years, just do a little thud. So I'll take it right here, get it started, and I'll just do a bump to get it started. And I'll get one dummy swing, I call it a dummy swing, and it doesn't count. And then I'll just go into my snatches. So I get it going here, dummy swing, then and so now, you know, you saw how engaged I got in there. I linked all together, like belly button to butthole, pinch tight, everything's good. Feet down into the floor. You totally wedged underneath of it. It's wonderful exercise.
Now, in order to add more stability, more safety, and more volume to the exercise, I would do it slightly differently. And I would even argue that the technique that I'm showing you has even a better effect on your body. Donnie mentioned that he starts with a dummy swing, where he holds the kettlebells close to his quads and then he pushes them off and starts with this ski swing or side swing, as people like to call it. Now, here's how I would start. 1/2 meter distance to the kettlebell, shoulder width stance, hinge, grab both kettlebells, and then we're able to engage into more safety, stability, and we probably get more out of the exercise as well. Here's another difference that you might have noticed, aside from swinging the kettlebell between my legs to get more activation from the hips. When I drop the kettlebells down into the backswing, I don't drop them from here, because then I would have to stand fairly wide and I would lose some of my mobility. So what I want to do is I want to drop the kettlebells into the rack position, and from the rack into the backswing, and from the backswing overhead. We refer to this type of variation as the double half snatch. Another thing that I've noticed with Donnie's technique is his overhead positioning. You can see that he's not flexible. He doesn't have a lot of mobility in his shoulders, so he stops right around here. This is not a bad thing per se, because for his sport, he needs it. More strength, more rigidity, and less flexibility. Now, even if you're not a powerlifter, you might also experience that the kettlebells stop right here in front. This is probably because you either have a shoulder that does not allow more range of motion, or you're suffering from a lack of mobility and flexibility. And putting the sport aside, improving these two important qualities of human performance is important as we get older. So let's break the exercise down in its detail. A little bit wider stance than shoulder width apart, hinge, grabbing both kettlebells, pulling the bells between my legs. As soon as I make contact with my body, I pull my arms close to my body to engage my lats. Then I hip thrust the kettlebells not forward, but upwards. And approximately here is where I insert both of my hands inside the window of the kettlebell. And then I reach the top fixation, stabilize the weight. And then I drop them down into the rack position, deciding which kettlebell comes first. In my case, the left one comes first and the right kettlebell overlaps. After this overlapping, you hear this clanking. Then I drop the kettlebells back down into the backswing and the exercise starts again. The final point is Donnie's breathing technique. As you can see and hear, when he drops the kettlebells into the backswing at the sides, which I'm not really recommending, I'm not a huge fan of this ski swing method, he holds the air in and then he exhales at the top. I would recommend that you want to exhale forcefully 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. Aaron from Squat University also had this to say.
You were very grounded to the floor the whole time. Sometimes when you see people do any type of kettlebell work, when they come back, you can see their toes fluttering. Yeah. And then when they come forward, they're getting up on their toes. Yeah. Whereas you were completely grounded to the ground.
Well, if you love anything about the ankles and feet, you'll learn their importance and the proper, what strength flexion has to do with their performance and the metatarsal spreading on the floor, being able to be a better conductor of force, you know, between you and the earth. So, well, I understand all that, and so I'm going to use it to my advantage, you know, and I'm not going to have a disconnect between me and my feet.
And when I started my YouTube channel, I heard this feedback all the time. And matter of fact, as of today, I still see it in the comments. If you don't keep your heels rooted and grounded to the floor, you're losing strength and power. A very popular talking point. Now, yes, there is truth to this. And especially in the backswing, you don't want to tilt too much back on the heels so that the toes lift up off the floor, even though you can do it if you are advanced and a professional and you know what you're doing. However, there's another side to this. First of all, there's the foot kick technique. The foot kick technique allows the arm, and by extension the kettlebell, to stay connected to the hips as long as possible. It also enables you to connect your arm as fast as possible to your hips once you drop it down from the top fixation. So the force transfer from my strongest muscles to my arm and to the kettlebell is therefore greater. Watch as I'm trying to exaggerate and do it as slowly as possible. Secondly, if you're advanced, it almost happens automatically, especially if you snatch or clean or just work with the ballistics for longer sets of time. You can see it especially in the one-arm snatch, where you use your upper body as leverage. You start leaning back to use your upper body's weight and leverage to gain more momentum and to even drop the fall and to stay as close as possible to your center of mass. This then works as a counterbalance against the kettlebell. On a final note, I want you to learn the one arm or single hand snatch first. And you do this by implementing the same technique as with double kettlebells by using the half snatch. 1, 2, 3, drop. 1, 2, 3, drop. So here's the next thing that you have to do. Like the video, consider subscribing, share with the friends, and if you made it this far, consider joining the House of Stock and become a Lebe Stock member. Get access to over $3,000 worth of content. And the best part, you can get started for only $1. check the link right here.